Hey guys, this is Charles from Cinefx. It is May 17th, 2020. Let's take a look at sentiment and see where we are as of right now with sentiment positioning. Currently, the New Zealand dollar is in our strong sell, and so is the pound dollar. Dollar CAD is in our strong buy zones. We'll see how that kind of starts playing out throughout the week, but that's where we stand starting the week. I do want to talk about a new feature that we added to the sentiment analysis tool, which is the heat map. And what this will quickly do, if we have our positioning inverted, we can quickly look for signals to see which pairs that we should be focused on. So the first three letters of your currency pair you would find here, and the last three you would see up top. So if your typical pair is euro dollar, for instance, euro USD, you would start here with euro and then scroll all the way over to the euro dollar. And since this is inverted, we can quickly see that we should be considering selling that position. Now, the stronger, or should I say the darker the red, the more of a sell, and the darker the blue, the more of a buy. Okay, so and we could quickly see like a sentiment basket analysis using this tool. We can see that the New Zealand pairs across the board are a sell. Okay, whereas the franc across the board is almost a buy against everything except the dollar. And same thing with the US dollar across the board except for yen. It's a buy. Okay, and the pound, there's starting to be some, well, there's the pound. So same thing, you have a strong sell across the board for the pound. Okay, so we can kind of quickly look at this map and see which currencies we should be focused on, and see how that changes throughout the week, and see if market structure is changing. Then we can get in the pairs that have the highest probability of working out in our favor. Okay, we're going to look at a higher level analysis than you're probably used to seeing from some of my videos. I'm going to start doing these higher level, more sophisticated analysis, and hopefully you find them useful and can benefit from the information. Okay, so the idea is to pair some of the things we talk about here with sentiment, and to be able to make our trading decisions and make sure that the order flow and that the liquidity is in our favor. And again, retail is a great liquidity provider, being that they over leverage positions, and let trades go against them for long periods of time, and keep adding to losers and keep creating that liquidity until they get stopped out. Okay, and you multiply that times leverage times all the retail traders in the world, and you have a lot of liquidity. So when you apply these concepts with sentiment, you really get a huge edge in your favor. Okay, so first we're going to look at the dollar on a monthly level. Okay, and what we can see is that the dollar is currently running into last month's value area at the top, and it's kind of hesitating right there right now. And so I'm kind of expecting a pullback probably around at least to the center of VWAP here, which is at the 99, say 90 level. Okay, somewhere around there. And then maybe a push up, or we may see price go down and pull back and then continue downward. Okay, either way, I think target is going to be up here at some point in the near future, or we're going to be aiming for the value area down here. Okay, and those in our Cinefx group probably recognize this pattern here as a market cycle, and this is a typical market cycle where we would have got short here, and this is like a very good trade to the downside. and that was in March. Okay, so that created this huge range, and we're currently trading within value, you know, on the bigger scale. Okay, but at some point we're going to test these areas either here or down to the downside, and so we're closer to testing it up here. Okay, and since we had this down push and then a higher up push, we may have one more push down and then a push upward. Okay, that's probably more likely to happen at this point. And you could see that so far in May we have this kind of uptrend in our value, right? It's kind of moving upwards. So we may get this pullback and then to this level here. Okay, and so let's look at the dollar on the weekly level. Okay, and so last week we cleared the previous week's highs and they immediately had a pullback down to the other side of value. And then we took out those stops. Okay, and then we were kind of moving downward here, but then we had this push upward. Okay, and so again, we may have something, you know, something like this, or down to, you know, this area on the other side of here, and then maybe a push upward. Okay, and aiming at those stops above here. Okay, so we'll see how this week starts to play out. And then the dollar on a daily level, same thing. We could see that price pushed up right up against here and kind of created these, you know, what retail calls a double top. What really happens here is it creates this huge liquidity pool above. Okay, so we have liquidity here and here all at the same area, and we have liquidity right there at those stops, and we have liquidity, okay, there at those stops. So there's a lot of liquidity up in here. On the other side of the, you know, looking at the left side of the chart, we've already cleared out the liquidity on the downside over here. Okay, so that's been cleared out. So there's a lot more potential for, you know, this stuff to get taken on the upside, especially since we kind of made this double top here. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. Looking at our market profile charts, what we had is we had this push up, values kind of hovering down a little bit. So as long as we stay within this range, I think we're good. If we, let's see, let's unfold Friday a little bit. Okay, so if we stay above this level going forward, I would expect us to retest this 100.65 level. Okay, and if we pull in there, we'll test the other side. Okay, but if we start trading through here and we get stuck within this value range, we may see a visit to the other side and potentially break through and start moving lower. Okay, so I will be looking at these areas to go long. We'll just see how this starts playing out. Okay, we'll see how this area starts playing out. Again, if it goes inside this value area and pulls back, then I'm going to be looking for a short to the other side of the channel. Okay, so let's look at the euro dollar on the monthly level. Okay, and very similar thing here, except in this situation, we're actually trading at the bottom. You know, we're really hanging out at the bottom of that big run up, run down type situation. Remember, the euro dollar is inverse of the dollar index for the most part. It's got the most weight in the dollar index. So this is a good pair, one of the strongest pairs to use the dollar index as a guide. But if we can see, we're really hovering at this bottom area here, and we kind of stuck in this zone. So we'll see what happens going forward. I don't really see anything that really stands out, you know, besides that we're just really stuck within this area, you know, for the most part. Okay, same thing up here. Like, we're really stuck in these zones. So nothing on the monthly chart. The weekly chart gets a little more interesting because we did have the spike up to the top of this value channel here, and then we had a pull back. Okay, so structurally we have a higher high and a higher low if this holds. Okay, so if we get a push up and a pull back here, then we may see the previous high looks like it's already been taken out. But we may get a push above this value area, okay, and then to continue upward. So you really want to watch how this kind of plays out going forward. Again, there is a lot more liquidity built up on this downside, you know, opposite of the dollar itself. Okay, at every one of these swings, we have liquidity. So we just have to kind of keep an eye on what the dollar index is doing and keep an eye on this euro here. On our daily level, you'll see with our TPOs here, brought up to our group on Friday that, you know, price spiked up into the point of control here and immediately reversed back down. Okay, so this was an excellent short area to just have your limit order just sitting there at this point of control because price was already down here. Your stop could have been on the other side of this channel and could have easily, you know, profited some pips right there. Okay, so we'll see how this goes going forward. But here's our value areas. I already have them highlighted, our nearest ones of significance. So if we get caught going into this zone, then we can expect this to move down. If we start to break through here, especially if we break through the upside of this, then we can expect price to get into this channel. Okay, you may get a reversal up here down to the downside and retest and then a move back upward. So we're just going to keep an eye. It looks like price is currently just kind of in the center of this area right now, which isn't significant for us at this moment. Okay, we want to see one of these other scenarios play out. We want to see price moving down, pulling back, you know, to test this value area, which is really within a bigger value area down here to the bottom side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the analysis there. There's a lot more pairs. Any of the members who are interested in going over in detail any of the other majors, I'm more than happy to look at them with you. But I think this gives you a good idea going forward if you play the euro, some options that you can look forward to. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any comments or you'd like to see anything going forward or a certain pair during the analysis, make sure you let us know. Again, this is Charles from Cinefx. Thank you. Talk to you soon.